Welcome back to another video. Today we're visiting Saltaire, an entire village created by Titus Salt. He built Saltaire to provide better living and working conditions for his workers in his large textile mill, Salt's Mill. This was opened in 1853. He was born on the 20th of September 1803 and he was made a baronet by Queen Victoria in 1869. This gave him the title Sir Titus Salt. He married Caroline Whitlam and had 11 children, each have a street named after them. He died on the 29th of December 1876, aged 73. We're going to go and have a look now around the town of Saltaire and have a look at some of the architecture and the old buildings. Saltaire is actually a World Heritage Site.
That window. Up he goes.
We're now at the site of the old wash house. It opened in 1863. It had 12 male baths, 12 female baths, a Turkish bath, 6 washing machines and a rubbing and boiling tub, wringing machines and hot air dryers. The wash houses weren't very popular and they were converted into houses. These were then demolished in 1894. Then garages were built, but now the site is a garden area.
Yeah.
We're now at the Salto Institute. This was built between 1867 and 1871. It was used as a social club and an educational institute. It's now known as Victoria Hall. On the outside, on the front corners, are 2 sculpted lions. These represent war and peace. These sit opposite a matching pair in front of the school, which represent determination and vigilance. We're at the site of the hospital. It was built in 1868. The original hospital and dispensary was 2 stories high and had just 9 beds. A 3rd floor was added in 1908 and to 1909, making it able to provide 17 beds. A further extension in 1926 made it able to accommodate 30 beds. The hospital closed in 1979. It was used as a nursing home and now has been converted to a private apartments. We're now at the almshouses. Built in 1868, there were originally 45 houses. Each had an oven, boiler and pantry. They also had a single bedroom. There are 41 of the houses left, as 4 were used in the expansion of the hospital and dispensary. Many people who lived here were former employees, but this was not necessary. The requirement to live here was you needed good moral character and an incapacity for labour, by either age, disease or infirmity. In the porches of number 35 and 38 are 2 stones bearing the names of the residents. When the houses were built, they had a chapel of their own. We think they are all now residential houses. Titus Salt invented his own coat of arms, and you can see this on quite a few of the buildings around Saltaire. As we're walking around, we notice different names on the streets. These acknowledge the names of his family, the royal family and the architects of the village. looking towards Salt's mill now. Work began on the mill in 1851 and was officially opened in 1853 on Titus Salt's 50th birthday. We're at the site of the railway station now. The Leeds and Bradford Railway, which was absorbed into the Midland Railway, was opened on the 1st of July 1846. There was a line between Shipley and Colne from 1851, and this was extended to Saltaire and Shipley in 1856. But due to the beaching cuts, in 1965 it closed. The original station was demolished in 1970. The line reopened on the 9th of April 1984. We've made our way to the church now. The foundation stone for the church was laid by Caroline Salt, Titus Salt's wife, in 1856. The church opened in 1859. On the south side of the church is the Salt family mausoleum, where Sir Titus Salt was buried in 1876. His wife and several of his children are also buried in the mausoleum, and it's the only plot of land still owned by the Salt family. We're now at Saltaire Park. It's also known as Roberts Park. This opened in 1871. The park had strict opening hours. It closed with the sound of a bell that is still on the lodge near Coach Road. In one of the shelters in the park there's a list of rules that were issued by Sir Titus Salt in 1871 about what you could and couldn't do. The statue of Sir Titus Salt was erected in 1903. As you wander around the park, you notice a couple of statues of alpaca. Titus Salt was the only spinner of alpaca weft in Bradford. There's quite a lot of interesting bits of history and things to see in the park. It's definitely worth a visit if you get the chance to visit Saltaire. Also, an interesting site to visit is the saltairevillage.info. This has loads of information about the town, and in this video we've not managed to even cover half of it, of what's there. We're now back at the river looking towards Salt's mill. We've just installed a fish pass here, so that allows the salmon to move upstream, and also otters have been spotted in this area. Well, that's the end of our little video. We hope you've enjoyed it. Till next time, see ya.